On Kochie's Business Builders, the seniorpreneur startup revolution. Baby boomers going into business by themselves and winning. Also, the future is here. How artificial intelligence is transforming the way we work and how you should be using it. Plus, the American clothing company that started small in the 70s and grew to become a market leader. Find out its strategy for success. Hello and welcome to Kochie's Business Builders. Are you over 60 but not quite ready for retirement? Why not jump on the Silver Fox startup bandwagon? Baby boomers now make up 3 in 10 of all new startups, and they really know what they're doing. The Australian Institute of Business has found entrepreneurs get better with age, mainly because they have human capital, social capital, and financial capital behind them. With that in mind, let's find out how to do it successfully and check in with Louise Kerr, who left the corporate world to become a bookkeeper almost a year ago. Louise Kerr loves working. She has 35 years' experience in business management. So when it came to starting her own franchise, Louise was well prepared. Today, she's meeting Robert Gerrish, founder of Flying Solo, Australia's largest solo and micro business community.
So, Louise, tell me a little about yourself and your working history.
I've been working since I was 16, and basically I started off in small business and then I progressed into corporate and government.
So what's prompted you then to kind of use these skills and now start your own business at this stage of life?
Well, after working as long as what I have, I really couldn't see myself retiring. I just really wasn't ready for it. So I'd looked at a number of different businesses. I'd observed a few people that were doing different things as they were getting older.
So how are you finding working for yourself in your own business?
It does have its challenges. I'm finding that I'm having to wear multiple hats. Previously, I was always able to go to a particular department to get something done. Now it's me doing it myself. And also to time, like you really have to make sure that you make use of the time that you have. Otherwise, you can end up being tied to that business 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
So what you're describing here is, very, very sort of common characteristics for people starting on their own is that this, particularly where they've come from a corporate background, this whole notion of having to do everything yourself, as you say, that can be somewhat overwhelming, and we might look at some strategies for that. So far, what's been the most rewarding thing for you?
Initially, getting my clients. Like, you go in and you start a business and you go through the training process and getting things set up and so on. And then you think, golly, am I going to get a client? Like, I've come this far, where are they? And the most rewarding is to get the client, to work with the client and to make a difference with their business.
Looking to the future, how long do you envisage running this business? Do you have an exit plan?
My vision is to grow the business to begin with. And currently at the moment, I'm working in and on the business. What I'd like to be able to do is employ additional bookkeepers that will allow me to work on the business and grow it further and look at what additional services I can provide. As far as exiting from the business is concerned, I'm looking at about 10 years down the track.
But I guess also what you can see within your business, which is a lovely situation, is that you can see a way of growing, but also you know that you'll be building a business that has some value should you want to pass it on to somebody else.
Coming up, how Louise can manage the growth of her business by figuring out exactly where to focus her attention. Robert Gerrish will answer her questions right after the break. Do you try and get personal when it comes to marketing your small business? Well, a new report by In Moment has found brands have a lot of work to do to make personalisation a more positive experience for customers. According to the findings, 7 in 10 Australians think most forms of personalisation are somewhat creepy. Worse still, 4 in 10 brands classify their own marketing as creepy. It can affect your business's bottom line, with 1/3 of consumers admitting they will stop buying a brand which has creepy marketing. Researchers say the best way for a brand to thrive is to be transparent and engaged in ongoing conversations with its customers. Because at the end of the day, personalisation should be responsible for creating stronger customer experiences rather than driving them away.
Hi, my name is Joe Bailey and I'm the owner and operator of Joe Bailey Hair Salons. Today we're proud to support Kochie's Business Builders and the Campaign for Optimism. There's never been a better time to be in small business.
You're watching Kochie's Business Builders. Are you a baby boomer thinking about launching your own small business? Well, Louise Kerr has taken that leap by buying her own bookkeeping franchise. Louise has been working on it for almost a year now, but she wants the business to grow. So she's picking the brain of Robert Gerish from Flying Solo, who coaches senior entrepreneurs so they can strike a winning business formula.
So Robert, in the Flying Solo community, how many people like me are doing this?
If we look broadly, if we look at the whole of Australia and we take people in our sort of age range, it's interesting that the 50 to mid-60s age group are now by far the biggest startup group, which is really surprises an awful lot of people. So about 35% of Australian startups are people in our age range. And in total, it's estimated that that's currently about 600,000 people.
Oh, wow. What are some of the other challenges people face in or have faced in the Flying Solo community?
Well, interestingly, a number of the ones you've mentioned are very common. You know, overwhelm, wearing too many hats is certainly a very big issue for a number of people running their own small business. But in fact, the leading one is finding enough clients. Now, one of the beauties for you about joining a franchise is you have, a great deal of brand awareness from the get-go because of the brand that you've chosen to work with. But for a lot of people that are starting up on their own, they don't have that.
Is there anything that you think that I could be doing differently that could help my business?
The whole sort of area of networking and connecting is something that's very important to do. As you say, that's the kind of structure that you have within corporate that kind of disappears when you're in your own business. So I know you are starting to get more active in networking groups. I think that's very, very valuable for you because word of mouth is likely to be by far the biggest source of new business for you. You might also have a look at some of the social media networks, probably not all, but I think LinkedIn, I know, is one that could be very, very valid for you. And I think when it comes to the whole sort of area of overwhelm, which I know is a big issue for a lot of businesses in startup, is just being clear, what are the things that your business really needs you to master? And what are some of the things that you might actually delegate to somebody else? And there's a little tool that I can share with you where you can start to think about priorities for your business. What are the things you need to improve your skill set? What are the things where you can pass it on to somebody else?
So you could delegate the admin and you can and focus on only what you can do to grow the business.
Absolutely right. Now, the one little point just to watch there is that what we shouldn't be doing really is delegating things before we understand how the system works. As you get to very nearly your kind of first year anniversary, what's work-life balance looking like, and how is this kind of impacting your husband, for example?
We've been trying to get away for quite some time. He's always ready to go on leave. I am too, but I've had to think about the business, and all he will have to do is just put in a leave request. When we do go away, I can't see myself being away for any longer than a couple of weeks, but at least it's something that we can plan.
And I know that there are other colleagues, even indeed within the group, the franchise group that you're with, who in fact spend a lot of their time as grey nomads travelling around Australia and working. Is that a possibility for you in the future?
That could quite easily happen.
How enticing does that sound? Louise could soon have the best of both worlds, working while travelling. Seems to be what a lot of baby boomers are doing these days. And why not? You may as well use your experience. But for now, Louise needs to figure out exactly what daily tasks she can hand over, which is probably all the admin duties, so she can focus on growing her new business. And I can highly recommend the Flying Solo platform. It's full of great advice and resources for solo entrepreneurs and micro business owners. Now to pillars of success, helping you build solid foundations. This week, Inventium's Amantha Imber is talking innovation.
Today's pillar of success is all about innovation fundamentals. So what exactly is innovation? At Inventium, we define innovation as change that adds value. So we use the word change because arguably anyone working in any organisation is capable of making a change. And secondly, it's about adding value, because we don't just want change for change's sake. So innovation is about change that adds value. Now, there are two reasons why innovation is so important. Firstly, innovation is how companies grow, whether that be in size or in impact. Secondly, innovation is important so that your company doesn't die or become irrelevant. Not quite as inspiring as growth, but a reality nonetheless, because this world is rife with examples of companies that have failed to innovate and are now no longer with us.
Still to come, how artificial intelligence can streamline your small business.
I'm Rick Ridgeway, the Vice President of Public Engagement at the outdoor apparel company Patagonia. And our 3 tips for business success are, number 1, be transparent. Not just transparent, but radically transparent. To be willing to state publicly what you're doing good, and more importantly, what you're doing bad. Tip number 2, know your supply chain. Map your supply chain. Not just your contracted suppliers, tier 1. Map it all the way through, right through to materials. Only if you map your supply chain can you know your supply chain. Only if you know your supply chain can you manage your supply chain. Tip number 3, commit to shared value. Commit to returning value not just to your shareholders, but your stakeholders. Have a higher purpose. Be in business to provide value to other people who your business affects globally, both to reduce environmental impact and to increase social justice. And guess what? All those things will create enormous business value. We know because we are very successful. We've made those 3 commitments, and every year we're doing better and better financially. Thanks very much.
When you hear the words artificial intelligence, what do you think of? If robots come to mind, you're spot on. But it's not always a lifelike machine. AI is transforming the way people do business through the art of automation. This week, we were lucky enough to speak with Kriti Sharma, an inventor changing the world one robot at a time.
Businesses today are spending way too much time doing admin activities. When I go and visit small businesses, I often see it's one person doing the job of many, unlike the CEOs of a large corporation. And where AI or technology can really help is give small businesses the same superpowers as that of a large company. Now, AI can take care of a lot of mundane tasks, administrative activities like chasing your customers for payment or helping you sort out your expenses and receipts, managing supply chain, so that the humans, the entrepreneurs and the small business owners can focus on the human element, which is building relationships with customers or getting to know their services and products better. AI is a self-learning technology. It's kind of like how babies learn. When they grow, they see the world around them and they see experiences and they evolve from that. AI is learning in similar ways. It's fed a lot of data, which is the fuel. So AI learns from the data and the experiences and the problems it's asked to solve and its interactions with humans. kind of like if you have an Alexa or a Siri at home, you're talking to it or autocorrect, and every time you talk to it, it learns. AI learns in the same way. The fear comes in when we worry that the AI will learn from bad sources, or it will learn bad values or ethics or behaviors. And this is why it's very important to make sure that AI, the way it's created, is done in an ethical way. Not every robot needs to look like a Hollywood humanoid stomping around, destructing cities. Robots in reality are just software or hardware that is there to do repetitive tasks. And when you think of AI, don't always think of a big robot in a Hollywood film. When you think of AI, think about when you search on Google and AI is deciding what you see. When you log into Facebook and AI is deciding what you see there. You're searching for jobs on LinkedIn or looking to hire people for your company and AI is deciding it. Or when you run an ad campaign, a digital ad campaign, and AI is deciding who's the best customer to see this information and at what time. Already in your software for your business, you're probably using a lot of AI to drive automation. So it's here, right here, every day in our lives, all around us, and that impact is only going to grow.
Kriti Sharma has such a brilliant mind, and her inventions are already changing the way we work. And we need to be across all of that and adopting to those changes. Still to come, how to implement automation into your business today.
Small business owners are the jack of all trades and hopefully master of most. But as your business grows, your IT needs will too. So what are your options as your business becomes more reliant on tech? At the beginning, very small businesses can get the support they need from a hardware retailer such as Harvey Norman or Officeworks. For a few $100s a year, you can purchase an over-the-phone support plan or bring your tech in for repairs and troubleshooting. Businesses with, let's say, 15 staff and a turnover of less than $2 million, your next port of call would be to contact a freelance IT administrator or dedicated tech support specialist. And they can do ad hoc over-the-phone support and on-site support too. Now, moving up where your headcount is 20 or more, and IT is a core foundation of your business, then a managed service provider or MSP is the way to go. Think of them as your 24/7 on-demand access to qualified engineering staff and someone to call if systems go down. Alternatively, you can start to build your own in-house IT support team once your business can support it, of course. And if you're at this point, you're likely to have gone through a number of IT solutions to get here.
It's Ask Kochie time this week. A free-range egg producer got in touch asking about the automation process.
Hi Kochie, it's Adam Sprabby from Glenelg Free Range Eggs. This is a small business that I try to run on the side. I'm very passionate and enthusiastic about this business and I would love to grow the business. I'm just wondering if you've got any advice for me that would help me grow the business and make it successful moving forward.
Look, great question, Adam. So glad you sent this one in because over the last couple of months, I've come across a lot of people like you who've set up a business on the side, the old side hustle, with the hope of growing it to the point where they can give up their day job and take their passion project on full time. Now, like you, they're all facing time management issues because essentially you're working 2 full-time jobs, which is a massive load for anyone to juggle. There are solutions though, and while they may be a little time intensive to set up at the beginning, in the long run, they will save you loads of time. First way is to quickly build a sales funnel for your business. Now, sales funnels can help to automate your business, to scale it and grow it quickly and easily. Keep in mind your sales funnel needs to be carefully conceptualized before it's created. Sure, there's some front-end work involved, obviously, but once you've built your automated selling machine, it'll be smooth sailing from there. The second solution is to use a customer management system because manually tracking transactions is hard work and time-consuming. There are plenty of customer management systems to choose from. Most of them integrate with your cloud-based services, such as your accounting software. Next, build an email list. To do that, you'll need something to draw potential customers in. like a business website with great pictures and stories about your free-range chooks. Think about why people would want to subscribe to your list and use that to get them to sign up. And Adam, finally, use these online tools to analyse new opportunities in your business by understanding your demographic better. Look into everything from distribution channels to your direct competitors, and even maybe an analysis of foreign markets and other potential industries. If you do all of that, Adam, you'll have more time to spend with your chooks, and automation will do a lot of that back-end work for you. And don't forget, if you've got a question like Adam that you'd like answered, be sure to send it in to kbb@pinstripemedia.com.au. I'll do my best to answer it. Coming up next week, hardware and software solutions for your everyday business. And don't forget to join our Facebook Live discussion every Monday from 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. See you next week for more Kochie's Business Builders.